double over double bunks, slide out U-shaped dinette, full residential size queen bed, and plenty of kitchen prep space. Pantry, entertainment center across from the U-shaped dinette. Folks, this is a killer floor plan. This is the all-new Coleman Light 2455BH. Coming in at just 5,700 pounds, you're gonna love it. Let's start on one of my favorite areas when we're talking about travel trailers, and that is the kitchen. I think they did a couple things here that I really love. One of them, and probably the biggest one for me, is the fact that there is dedicated prep space. And what I mean by that is a lot of manufacturers today will have recessed cooktops with a cover, and a lot of times they will have sink top covers that give you prep space. And while I do love that, because any prep space I can get I want, I also love when there is a dedicated place. So if I'm cooking and using this and I need access to the sink for, rinsing, washing, adding water to a bowl, whatever it may be, I still have access right here so I can cut my veggies, I can prep my food, I can, put rubs and spices on my meat, everything that I need to do, I have the access to right there. So that's going to be one of my biggest ones. Also, I love that they use an upgraded countertop. So again, rather than using like a less expensive T-mold, they went to the thermoform style countertop, and it's a seamless countertop. And what I mean by that is that you don't have the T-mold right here. It's all just rolled over and then attached to the wood itself. And what that allows for is, one, less chance for any kind of leaks, because your T-mold's not popping off here, you're not getting water down in there. And also it allows you to undermount the sink, which you can't do with a standard T-mold. So, it's a step above T-mold, essentially a step below true solid surface, but it gives you the look of solid surface, a lot of extra features, and it's much less expensive, which of course saves you on your bottom line, and it saves you weight as well. You'll also notice this stainless steel sink itself, not only is it undermount, but it's apron front. And when we're talking about aesthetics, I love that. I think it's a great look, kind of following that farmhouse residential trend that we see. So definitely a big plus to them there. The sink itself is very usable. It has the modern cut, so it goes straight down in the corners. The whole sink bowl is usable. I can put a glass right here in the corner and it's gonna stay there, not roll to the center. High-rise pull-out faucets. That's one of the things when you start stepping up into like the light over the Coleman lanterns, we start getting some nicer features. Having a pull-out faucet is very beneficial. It's very useful in washing and rinsing dishes. Also, if you have like a Keurig over to the side here and you have it plugged in, you want to fill up your water basin, there you go. You can just fill it up right there. Speaking of Keurig though, as you'll notice, an electrical outlet, so you have a place to plug in your coffee maker, griddle, toaster, whatever else you need to plug in. Another thing I really love about this is the fact that backsplash wraps all the way around. A lot of manufacturers will try to save a little bit of money and they will just put the backsplash right in the back. And again, we do see that with some of the lower Coleman lines even. But I love that it goes all the way around. I think it completes the look, kind of that white subway tile look, again, trying to bring in a lot of that residential flair and feel. A window here, of course, so you can see out to your campsite. Storage across the top with frosted glass so that it's not wood, brown wood overload up here. Microwave, your vent. Fan right there with a light and a fan, your hood with a light and a fan. Underneath that is your 3-burner cooktop. As I mentioned, it is recessed, the glass cover. This just folds up and back like so. Kind of gives you access to the cooktop itself. Now, with the Greystone, if I'm gonna, for everything that they nailed here in the kitchen, this is one fail for me. It's something that's very, very minor, but it's one of my pet peeves with the Greystone cooktop. Furion, Magic Chef, some of the other ones that are out there, I think even Suburban, they will stop right here. With the Greystone, it goes all the way to the back and kind of rests on the backsplash. Not a huge deal, right? I mean, not like you're going to just throw it up there and have it slam and break or anything like that. It's just one of those pet peeve things where I just like that it stops here. It just feels a little more solid to me than going all the way back. But I digress. Moving on. It is still a 3-burner cooktop. The front one is high output. The knobs light up. If you like the blue light look, this one can have that. Also, oven underneath if you want to bake some casseroles or cupcakes. Maybe a mini cake, something like that. If you want to make a cheesecake, hey, you'll be my best friend if we're going camping. I'm a big fan of cheesecake. probably why I'm starting to put on the weight, right? Underneath the sink here, you will see plenty of storage there as well. It's a great spot for a trash can. That's something else that Coleman strives to do in a lot of their floor plans coming into 2021, is any floor plan they could give a spot for a trash can. they did it. And that's a big deal to me, because the last thing in the world I want is to try to tie my trash bag to one of my pulls. It's unsightly, it smells bad, I want that thing tucked away. Speaking of the pulls though, I will pull out the drawers. You can see here plenty of storage space, full extension as well. You can see I'm able to access the back of the drawer very easily. It is on the ball bearing glides there, so again, it is a very smooth operation, and it is strong, so it's going to support the weight of if you're using like real silverware instead of plasticware, you don't have to worry about your drawer or anything breaking on you. Taking a step back, move into the entertainment system, and you will notice they put a decorative wall board on here, which I like that too, kind of giving the shiplap wall look, again, kind of trying to stay true with that farmhouse style that we see in the kitchen. The TV is on a swivel mount, so that if you want to turn that a little bit, for the kids in the back to be able to watch it, you can do that. Otherwise, it is a perfect shot straight across to the U dinette. And that can be a good deal too. I'll show you some things we can do there to talk about that in a little bit, some different configurations on how you can make this work, even if it's 4 of you that want to watch TV at the same time. Again, we'll talk about that in a second. Underneath is your multimedia center. This does have an HDMI port and USB port right on the front, so it is easy access if you want to plug in auxiliary equipment. This controls the speakers inside and outside. It's also Bluetooth capable. Underneath that, you have a little bit of space for said components and a fireplace. So that way, if you need something to just kind of, take the chill out of the air, that will do a pretty decent job. Now, it's not going to heat up the whole camper. It's probably not going to get up into the bedroom much. But if you're right here, and it just starts kind of dipping down into like the 50s, where it's just cold enough, you don't really want to turn on the furnace, but it's kind of cold inside, I recommend using that. And again, it will help warm this space up. One thing I do want to point out as well is there is a switch over here. What this is for is to switch between the fireplace and the microwave. I believe it's the microwave. I'd have to double check. Plug it into shore power. Generally, when they put this switch in, it's the fireplace and the microwave. And the reason they do that is because it's 30 amp, right? If it's 50 amp, you're able to run both, but if it's 30 amp, it's one or the other. So they put the switch in. So if you need to use the microwave, you're gonna have to switch off the fireplace. Just an FYI. Coming around to the side, this is, again, with this style floor plan, a lot of manufacturers are doing this, and this is wonderful. You can see the big pantry storage you have here. Those are removable shelves. You have the hanging rod up top. And so this gives you a lot of flexibility. Let's say it's just the 2 of you. Let's say you don't have any kids or friends or family, anyone else that's going with you. You can load all this up with food. You're going to, let's say you had this camper for a few years, and the kids were older when you got it. Now they're off into college, or they're graduated, or they're off doing their own thing. They no longer want to go camping with you. Fine. You just inherited a bunch of pantry space and a bunch of storage space right here in the back. If kids are going with you, or family or friends, you can use that hanging rod for clothes storage. Use the shelves for folded clothes storage. You have, storage underneath. You can put a laundry basket in there. So it is a versatile storage space depending on your needs. And again, anytime, I say this in a lot of my videos, anytime you have versatility and flexibility in a floor plan is a great thing. It allows the camper to grow with your needs. Main control panels right there, including your tank monitoring panel. You will notice the water heater. It does run off both gas and electric, and you can flip both those on at the same time for faster recovery. Double over, double bunks, Teddy Bear Bunk Series, 300-pound capacity, so that way adults can sleep on here. It also has the built-in ladder, so that way you can climb up into the top bunk easier. Otherwise, it can be pretty tough for smaller kiddos. If we lift up this portion on the bottom, you will also notice big storage space. So it is a little bit tougher to get to the back there, but it is possible. You will see that does lift up though for that additional space. One last thing I do want to hit on at the bunks. I said 300-pound weight capacity, but weight only means so much if you can't fit. But here you can see, folks, I am 6 foot tall. I can put a pillow here. My feet can stay flat. I can fully extend. I have plenty of room. There's also light in there and USB ports. So that way, if someone needs to charge their cell phone, or if the kids want to play on a tablet on a rainy day, kind of have their own space right there too, which is great. Thermostat that will control both your ducted AC as well as the furnace. Come in here, we'll turn the light on, and I'll take a seat on the toilet. Now, for everything that this floor plan nails, and there's a lot of it, as I said, the kitchen, right? One of the fails for me, because I don't really count the countertop as a fail, it's very nitpicky, or the cooktop. But one of the fails for me is this right here, and that is the bathroom space. At 6 foot tall, I can clear. My knees do clear a little bit. My toes are kind of jammed up in there. But if you're a taller person, this could be a tough space. There's just not a lot of room for the legs. My shoulders are fine, but just not a lot of room for the legs. So I do recommend, if this is one of them that you're looking at, come take a seat here. I would be fine. At 6 foot tall, I would be fine. I don't have a ton of space, but I can definitely make this work. I'm not going to spend all day here, but I do recommend checking this space out, making sure it'll work for you. As far as the countertop, though, they did do a good job of extending the countertop over so that you do have countertop space. If you need to set down like a curling iron or a spot for your toothbrush, I have like a portable water pick I bring with me. Like, there's all these things that I take camping that a lot of times you don't have space for, but you do have it right over here, as well as space underneath if you need a couple extra rolls of toilet paper, maybe some spray, who knows, right? Underneath the sink, again, if you don't want your toilet paper hanging out, you can put it out here. It's a good spot for your black tank chemicals too. Electrical outlet, mirrored medicine cabinet. It's an actual medicine cabinet. By that I mean, it's actual wood. It's not a plastic one. I like when manufacturers, do put in a little bit nicer medicine cabinet there. Vent fan, of course, and then the shower. I'll take a step in here. So again, at 6 foot tall with the skylight, I can clear. Without it, I'm maxing it out, right? But luckily the skylight does take up the majority of the shower, so chances are I'll pretty much have that space. But if you're 6'2" or above, you're probably gonna have to duck down a little bit in here. As far as the hand shower, pretty simple stuff. Pretty easy to use. Nothing too out of the ordinary there. But I did just kind of want to give you the idea of space. Making our way back out. Let's talk about the slide out dinette, because this is something that's pretty unique to Coleman in the industry right now. And what that is it's a convertible dinette. So, what I want to know, I want you folks to tell me if this is something that you see benefit in, if this is something that you would take advantage of. Because it is a cool system. Again, it does allow versatility. I'm just wondering if you would, just kind of always keep it one way or the other. And what this does is, in the current configuration, this is in a U-shaped dinette. But what can happen is this back part right here, the back of this U is removable, as are these back cushions, and then the table will turn and it will create a standard dinette. There is a little bit more gap in between where you're sitting and the table, so you do have to sit forward a little bit on your seat, but it does give you that flexibility. So I'm just curious, would you always leave it a U? Would you, just prefer always having a standard? Let me know in the comments section if you think this is a benefit, or if you would just say, Ian, just tell them to just use a U shape, because that's important to me, because there's no point in adding a feature if people don't find benefit to it. That being said, one of the things I do like about the U-shaped dinette in particular is the fact that if I do drop this down, not only does that create a big bed, but more importantly for me, is you can kind of set this up as a sofa, right? It's a smaller floor plan, so in the slide, they couldn't fit a sofa in a dinette. But what you do is, if you drop this down, you can take the cushions, put it on top, you have all this space here, take some throw pillows and put them along the back, and now you can kind of sit here, whether you sit this way, or, and more importantly for me, if you sit this way, right, with the throw pillows, your whole family can sit along this and everyone can watch a movie together. That's something a lot of times can't happen. If in a standard dinette, you don't have the space for it, but here, because they're able to put in the U, you can, again, just put those throw pillows and have a little movie night. And I think that's pretty cool. It's really kind of taking advantage of the space and utilizing a smaller RV and still getting kind of a pseudo couch out of it. Right over here is the fridge freezer combo. Open that guy up, Dometic unit. Plenty of space there. It does have a cutout, of course, for some of your taller items, and then the drawer down underneath. This one does run off both propane and electric, and also has automatic switchover. Coming into the bedroom, this one has a slider door. That's important to me too, for privacy reasons. If you have a curtain, the kids are in the back, there's not a lot that's stopping any noise there. And what I mean by that is, if you're watching TV in here, right, because there's a spot to mount it, the kids are going to hear everything. With the slider door, not that it's going to be soundproof by any stretch of the imagination, but it does help. It does help aid in that, and it just gives you this sense of more privacy, if nothing else. It just feels more private. Residential queen size bed. That's one of the big ones for me. That goes through everything in the Coleman Light series. Having that residential size bed not only means it's long enough, your feet aren't going to hang off, but it also means that if you want to swap this out for a residential mattress, you can do so. I always tell people though, just bear in mind, a lot of residential mattresses these days are really thick, so it's going to raise your mattress up here. I just want to make sure you're not going to feel like you're in a coffin. So if you're planning on doing that, make sure you go to a Camping World. They can help make sure that you get a proper mattress for your RV. On both sides are nightstands. You'll see electrical outlets there too, USB ports. You have drawers on both sides, so if you have some items you want to toss in there, you can, whether it's reading glasses, something like that. Of course, mirrored wardrobe space there, storage across the top, and as I previously mentioned, your TV will hook up right over there. Last quick thing before we go outside, I just want to, of course, point out that underneath the bed, you do have strut-supported storage space, and so that way it's nice and easy to get to. Now that we've seen the insides, take a look at some of the outside features on the 2021 Coleman Light 2455BH. Up front, this unit comes equipped with a power tongue jack, which makes it a lot easier to connect and disconnect from your tow vehicle. Simply flip the rocker switch to raise it up and down. Then it also has the light for added visibility at night. Right behind that is your manual override in the rare event the motor does fail. You also see two 20-pound propane tanks, and behind that are rails there for your battery. Up the front is diamond edge plating, help protect that front end from rocks and debris that get thrown up by your tow vehicle, and a 3/4 front cap with LED lights inlaid into it. Solar prep is right around the side, so if you want solar, simply buy the portable panels, plug it in right there, it'll trickle charge your battery. Covered hinge, so you don't have a bunch of rust coming down your door. It is a slam latch, and it's also magnetic, so that it sits up and sticks just like that. Nice and simple, so the kids aren't going to come by, slam it down, and break a plastic tab. Now when you take a look inside, this is something else I love about the Coleman line in general, whether it's the lantern, whether it's the light, you will see how big of a pass-through this one has. That's pretty rare. A lot of times it's much smaller, but here, if you have a big wide item, like some of your larger executive chairs, director chairs, you can actually slide them right in there pretty easily. You'll also see right down here, this one comes equipped with power stabilizer jack. So all you have to do is simply touch the button to drop those down. Now bear in mind, those are not auto levelers or levelers by any stretch. You want to make sure you still use blocks to level it out, but the power stabilizer jacks are much easier to set up, and that way when you do drop them down, it'll help secure your RV so it's not rocking around as much when you're moving around inside. Power awning on this unit, touch a button to roll it out, same thing to go right back in with an LED light strip underneath, so you don't have to hang any lights up. It's already provided for you. A couple speakers there as well, which are connected to that multimedia center inside. If you want a TV outside, you'll see there is already a bracket here for it. So what that means, you can take that TV inside, take it out of that bracket, come out here, drop it right down in, so that way you can have one TV and just take it back and forth, so you don't have to pack a second TV in the pass-through or anywhere else where there's a chance that it's going to break. You know it will be secure inside. And if you're hanging out, want TV outside, boom, drop it right in. It's light enough, it's easy to carry, and of course the connections for it are located right next to that. This one also has the LCI solid step, which just as the name implies, is a very solid step. I'm over 200 pounds, I can walk up and down this thing, jump on it. The trailer may flex a little, but the steps do not. Aluminum treads as well, so they don't rust. Some grip tape in case it gets wet. Adjustable feet, so you can adjust it to the campsite, and the large foldable grab handle, which makes it a lot easier to have control when entering or exiting the RV. One of the big things about bunk models, especially when you have the bunks on the campsite, is the opportunity to have an outside kitchen. And they did not skip a beat here. They didn't miss that opportunity. They gave you the outside kitchen with storage right up top, fridge over to the side. And if we pull this guy out, you see a 2-burner cooktop here with some additional countertop space, which this is pretty rare. A lot of times you don't get this. I am kind of glad they were able to fit that, at least a little bit of prep space in there. Not that it's a ton, but it's a spot where you can put like a spatula, spoon, something like that. And again, most of the time you don't have that luxury. Coming around to the back side, this one does have an outside shower on the rear. A lot of times, if you have an outside shower, it's on the off-camp side. This makes it a lot easier to access, especially being close to your outside kitchen. If you need to, fill up like a water basin or something, a pot, you want to put it on that cooktop, you're able to do so. This does have both hot and cold water access. Square tubular bumper with end caps gives you a convenient spot to store a sewer hose, and mounted to that is your spare tire, which is arguably one of the easiest places to reach it on a travel trailer. Right up top in the center, you'll also notice this one comes with backup camera prep. So if you want a backup camera, having that prep makes it easier to install, meaning it'll save you money on labor. And around to the back side, cable inlet here. As I mentioned, 30 amp power supply, which is why we have that switch inside to flip between the fireplace and the microwave. And then here is your city water inlet, as well as a black tank flush. So if using the black tank flush is something I always recommend doing when you're done camping. And what that does, instead of having to stick a hose down your toilet to wash it out, you just hook the hose up right there. You will also see your terminations with both your black and gray tank valves located there. And if we make our way up front, you will see that you have a second gray tank termination located there. All right, folks, and that wraps it up. Again, this is the 2021 Coleman Light 2455BH. There's a lot to love in this RV, and if you are interested in like price and availability, simply click on the link in the description. Also in the comments section, let me know what you think they nailed, what they failed, or if you were designing this RV, what you would change. Thanks again for watching, folks. I'm Ian Baker, and let's go camping.